Good morning and welcome to your favorite talk show, The Late Night Labia. I am your host, Emma Wilson, and today we will be talking to sex ed teacher, Cristin Gustafson. Cristin, how are you today?
I'm great today, Emma. Glad to be here.
It's great to have you. How long have you been a sex ed teacher?
About 12 years.
That's pretty great. Give us some history about sex ed.
Okay.
Go.
Sex has been around for ages, but everyone seems to be uncomfortable when talking about it. Teaching has always been a sensitive subject. It is first taught by watching animals. In the 1900s, mainly STDs were taught for people to stay clear of them.
No, yeah, I actually was taught that HIV is smaller than the holes in a condom. I cannot believe that.
That's not true, but anyways, in the 20s, sex education was finally introduced into high schools, and in the 30s, the U.S. Office of Education first published sex education materials and trained teachers. Also, during this time, human sexuality courses appeared in colleges, which was huge. Parents soon protested having it in schools, but luckily over time, we've seen some changes in opinion. Like in the 80s, when the AIDS crisis strengthened sex education advocate cases to keep it in school.
You know, I also heard that anytime you have unprotected sex, you will always get AIDS or pregnant.
Where on earth did you hear that?
My school, I was taught it in sex ed, so like obviously it's true.
Well, you know that only 17 states require sex education to be medically accurate, right?
Well, I'm sure I was one of those. Everything I was taught sounds pretty accurate.
Well, what else were you taught?
I was actually taught that fellatio can lead to pregnancy because the sperm just knows where to go.
You cannot be serious.
Oh no, I'm serious. I think a lot more teens need to know about this. This is pretty scary.
No, sperm must enter the vagina and then eventually go up through the cervix into the uterus. What else do you think is real?
That sounds like fake news to me. You know, I was also taught that condoms can actually increase your chances of getting pregnant.
Again, no. When used correctly, condoms are 98% effective, and birth control is also 99% effective in preventing pregnancies.
I've never understood why women even use birth control. I mean, why not just get on top? You know, the sperm can't go into the vagina because gravity makes it go down.
I just don't know how to respond to that.
You know what I also learned? That women can't orgasm.
Again, false. Women can orgasm. A lot of sex education systems have covered male orgasms, but have failed to mention women's orgasms. The reason behind this seems to be because sex education mainly focuses on pregnancies and contracting sexual transmitted diseases rather than pleasure. It still doesn't explain why male orgasms is taught.
Yeah, that is weird. I've never actually thought about that. Maybe schools should just teach abstinence, honestly. That is the best way to prevent pregnancy. And we shouldn't be teaching kids about sex anyways. That just makes them want to do it more. We have to shield our children's eyes from sex.
Okay. A lot of scientific evidence finds that abstinent programs actually aren't effective at all in delaying when teens decide to have sex or change their motivation to do other sexual risky behaviors. Abstinent programs withhold information about human sexuality and may provide medically.
I just always assume that people perform abstinence because you can't get STDs or get pregnant unless you're in love. So that's why you should wait till marriage.
Say that again?
What do you mean?
What you just said. Say that again?
You can't get an STD and pregnant unless you're in love. That's why you should wait till you're married.
You're joking.
Nope, I am not joking.
It's pretty clear that the United States needs to have sex education reform.
Okay. What all do you think the sex education reform should consist of?
Sex education needs to be medically accurate to cover all of the bases. Teens at the right age should learn about the anatomy, the STD prevention, and symptoms, about how to have safe sex, and the risks of not having safe sex. Sex talk should not be taboo. It's important that our children grow up with all the information that they need to make good decisions.
You know what, Cristin? You make excellent points. Honestly, I agree.
Another thing that needs to be talked about more is consent, sexual assault, and domestic violence. These subjects are always skipped over, and it's so important that the teens know how to have healthy relationships and how to spot relationships that are not so healthy.
Is there anything else you think that the sex education reform should have?
Well, actually, sex ed should also cover all sexualities, not just heteronormative relationships.
You know what, now that I think about it, maybe I should go back to sex ed. Where could I find some resources in order to help me learn a little bit more?
Resources, you can always go online to PlannedParenthood.com. They are having amazing resources such as locations of education programs near you. They even have sexual education quizzes, games, videos, and more to help those get as much knowledge as they need to make the best decisions. They even have information on places to get tested for STDs, what is consent, and information that isn't heteronormative.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for being here. I honestly think I learned a lot. It's apparent that I don't know much about sex ed. Tune in after the break to see a segment on how to properly put on a condom.